You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Hey yo, we are back like we never left because we kind of didn't leave, just life, all the good stuff gets in the way. Hope everyone is good. It's been a long time since we last spoke. I think we did last week. Vic Fangio had just left, so a lot has happened since that time. But we appreciate everyone for sticking around, for being patient. And yeah, if you're here in the aftermath of the live on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get the podcast from, drop us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the good stuff. And if you're feeling generous, then give us a subscription over at patreon.com/Go Time Dolphins. But Charlie, haven't said this in a while. How are you?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. The Kansas City Chiefs, 3-time Super Bowl champions? Hold on.
4 years. I think last 5 years.
Yeah. Like did they win before Patrick Mahomes?
Don't think so.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. So yeah, I think they are 3-time Super Bowl champions. It's crazy how in my lifetime, the Patriots won all their championships in my lifetime. And I think the Chiefs won all their championships in my lifetime too. It's not like they had multiple championships before I was born or something like that.
They won one in 1970.
Okay, so they're 4-time Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
3 in my lifetime. What's going on, Kadeem? What we got?
First and foremost, happy birthday to Charlie Touche for the other day. Message been out on the socials, but as I said to you in a voice note, Charlie, it could have been the perfect birthday. Super Bowl, Miami Dolphins, the Lombard. It could have been, but it wasn't. But how did you spend your birthday? How was it?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was watching the Super Bowl, and the average white guy came on this show, and he's a 49ers fan, and that's my boy. Shout out to Brett Story. And I was watching the Super Bowl. I was going for the 49ers, and I thought they would win. Once the game started going, I was like, I don't know if 49ers gonna pull this off. But all the while I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, if they lose, I would not want a friend to lose like this. And I'm not gonna lie, I maybe just as a fan, my heart was beating real hard. And this, that had nothing to do with my friend having a team in it. I was just I'm excited for the game. My heart was beating fast, bro. And I'm like, yo, I wish I had all the high blood pressure and crazy anxiety going on for my football team losing the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I would have appreciated that. You feel me? Win or lose, but yeah, it was a good happy birthday, not a great one, but a great one would have been the Dolphins in the Super Bowl, knowing that we had a chance to be there. And I thought about that today. I'm like, let's look at the the 4 championship teams that were in the championship games. What was it? Niners, Lions, and Chiefs, and Bills,
Ravens.
Look how healthy they were, bro. You know what I'm saying? So everybody there's no excuses. I get that. We get that there's no excuses. But there are facts that you could look at. Bro, them teams was super healthy. And you can't imagine a team being banged up going against any one of those 4 teams. So health has a lot to do with it, with your success. And if someone says it doesn't, then I don't know what sport that they're watching. But just like Tyreek Hill said recently, there's no excuses for next year.
Yeah. Shout out to Jason Keck says happy birthday, Charlie. Mine was on the 6th. Happy birthday, Jason. We had a comment earlier, but we will get to that shortly. I didn't plan on staying up to watch the Super Bowl because I'd work the following morning, but I did. Went to bed at 4 a.m. Woke up at 7 a.m. Charlie, I was exhausted. But I was messaging Drakey like throughout the game and the following day. Shout out to Drakey. And like you said, like your heart was going, mine was going as well. And we were saying, if this was the Dolphins, I don't know how I'd survive. Like, I don't know what I would do. The second thing is, yeah, in this conversation with Drakey, we were like, to beat the Chiefs, let alone anyone else, but to beat the Chiefs, you have to play perfect football across all like offense, defense, and special teams and be healthy. It's like the 49ers played so well, but one mistake on special teams changed the game. And I can't even say was it any mistakes on defense, but Dre Greenlaw getting injured, the way he got injured in the Super Bowl, it just felt like luck wasn't on the 49ers side. And if luck isn't on your side against the Chiefs, the way they play at the moment, you stand no chance. It's like I was watching that game from a point of view of what do the Dolphins need to do to be in this game and win it. And I literally was there just like there's nothing like not there's nothing you can do, but every single thing needs to be on your side. Everything. And at that point, if not, then what do you do?
Yeah, bro. And we talked about this for the Dolphins. Anything can lose a game. One little thing, the games are so close. People, there's a terminology. It's a game of inches. Games are so close that one thing can lose the game. It could have been that extra point, the extra point that San Fran missed. That could have lost the game. It could have been the the muff punt. That could have lost the game by itself. So you add both of them together, you get yourself in a predicament where now you're up by 3 instead of 4 and all of this stuff. So when the Dolphins are playing to bring it back home, it's like, yeah, any little thing can be enough to lose a game. That's why, bro, I've seen so many similarities, bro, with McDaniel and Shanahan. When Shanahan went for it, I'm like, yo, McDaniel will go for it right here. And then Shanahan went for it right there. You know what I'm saying? So we're close, man. I really say that. I really believe it. I do believe we're close. And man, bro, there's a lot of things that we got to talk about going up into this off season of football where it's getting kind of loud. And people are saying, well, you shouldn't pay Tua. And then you should pay Tua. And then what are you going to pay Tua? And why would you pay Tua? You know what I'm saying? So what do you think of it since it's on the horizon, Kadeem?
Shout out to again the guy in the comments. Lee Connolly says some floppy penalties from a Shanahan offense sounds familiar. Then says elite defense wins you championships, always has and always will be the case. Shout out to Hammer says what's up. Shout out to everyone in the comments. We appreciate you greatly. So Jason Keck said earlier. So caveat: Super Bowl weekend a bit before. There's a NFL Insiders report, and I think it's tweeted by like Dov Cleveland, Barry Jackson, a few others, who basically say that the Dolphins and Tua's camp want to get a deal done before training camp, like they don't want it to drag on, and that the ballpark figure is essentially like the Joe Burrow Bengals contract, which is like around 55 million per year. And as expected, Twitter lost their mind. Like, how can you pay Tua 55 million a year? Like, you can't do it. All that kind of stuff. So if Tua gets paid in and around 55 million, it will make him the higher paid quarterback of his class, the 2020 class, where Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow have all been paid. So Jason Keck says the highest paid no. Burrow should be that because he's achieved more. Definitely more than Herbert, and I like Herbert. He's the one I wanted them to draft. Lee Connolly says pay to a yes, but not 50 million, and then same as Burrow. What I will say, because you didn't ask me the question, one, it's not my money. Don't actually care. Like, pay him what you want within reason, obviously. But I know a lot of people saying you shouldn't pay him at all. You should make him pay make him play on a 5th-year option. And to them people, I say that's counterproductive because the cap hit is like what 25 million, I believe.
Yeah.
If you pay him, doesn't matter what you pay him, you can pay him 60 million next year or 60 million average a year, but you can have the cap next year like 1 or 2 million. So you can keep your Connor Williams, your friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt, your Christian Wilkins, all of this kind of stuff. So that's what I would say to people who want to have him play on a 5th-year option. In terms of the 55 million, listen, it's inflation. It's what you paid Joe Burrow a few years ago. Like, if you pay him this year, it would be different for a number of reasons. One, I don't think he's reached a playoff since, and two, he's been injured. So, same way people say you can't pay to him because he's injury prone. Well, he's just coming off the back of a fully healthy season where he led his team to the playoffs. Joe Burrow is coming off the back of a season where he got injured, and the Bengals didn't make a playoff. So, what do you say to that? And yeah, 55 million. Listen, the quarterback he gets paid next year, whoever it's going to be, will probably get paid more than like. Obviously, it's a few years down the line, but what are you going to pay CJ Stroud? Like the cap's going to go up every single year, so it's a very long-winded way of saying I'd pay Tua 55 million because in the grand scheme of things, the money keeps on increasing and it doesn't matter too much, in my opinion.
You know how many quarterbacks played in the NFL? Started how many quarterbacks? Let me do this right. Do you know how many different quarterbacks started in the NFL last year? Kadeem?
I would generally not be surprised if the answer is 45 plus.
I believe now. I'm going to be very clear. I had the actual answer. Oh, here it is right here. And it's exactly what I thought it was. 67.
Crazy.
How many quarterbacks started for the Miami Dolphins last year, Kadeem?
1.
No, that does not justify $55 million in itself. But it seems like every time Tua is tasked to prove something wrong or someone wrong or people wrong or narratives wrong, he does it. But here's what I want to say without sounding like a Tua stan. If your quarterback is good enough to reset the market, then it's gonna happen. If you have a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, when he's up, his contract is up, the market is gonna reset. There's no difference when if that quarterback is on your team. What I believe for a long time, someone asked me this over a year ago in a group chat. They asked, "Hey, what do you think Tua is gonna get?" And this was over a year ago, bro. I'm like, Tua's probably gonna come in around 52 million. And in the group chat, like almost disbanded. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, it's just what you said, Kadeem, is inflation. You know what I'm saying? Cost of living goes up, everything goes up, cap goes up, everything goes up. Of course, the next quarterback up that is worth it will reset the market. It's cool that you pointed out Burrow hasn't been back since. What did Herbert do when he got his 50?
I think he's 52 round up.
Yeah, it was 52. So when Herbert got his 52, what did he do with it? It's just the nature of the business. It's just the next quarterback up. Let's be real. Daniel Jones got 40 million a year, maybe 46. You know what I'm saying? I can't even remember that number no more. It just doesn't make sense. So when it comes to Tua, I'm gonna answer my own question because you answered it respectfully. 55. If he comes in at 55 or 55 and a half or 56, I'm not going to trip. I do believe in Tua. I'm not trying to say he's the best quarterback in the NFL. We already have someone who should go in the Hall of Fame today while he's still playing. That's the best quarterback in the NFL, clearly. But I would say it is within the realm of possibility that 55 is the number. Now, what I would personally ask if I was a GM is, listen, we're trying to build a championship here, a championship contender. Can we get a hometown discount? Bring it in under like just as palpable as or palatable as possible. Like maybe a 49 isn't realistic. You know what I'm saying? And it might be disrespectful to ask them to do that. Same thing, same way it'll be disrespectful to ask him on to play on a 5th-year option. So you have quarterbacks, Joe Burrows, Justin Herberts. Um, you just can't imagine that a team would ask your quarterback to play a quarterback that has performed to play on a 5th-year option. Like it's disrespectful to have them do it, and then not to get that contract. So if you want to see if the Dolphins do not believe in Tua, then you will see them move on from Tua. Like this is going to be a we're moving on from Tua type thing, and I don't think that's the case. I think it's very clear. I think Miami has been upfront about it. Like, yo, we believe in Tua. We're going to pay Tua. And it's just all the people, all the non-believers, for whatever reason, they're non-believers. The non-believers, like, oh, the non-believers are actually the same people who said he couldn't do X, Y, and Z, and they're still around for whatever reason. So instead of just saying, all right, we have a pretty dope quarterback, but he hasn't succeeded in the playoffs. It's okay. There's 31 other quarterbacks that lose playoff games every single year. So it is what it is, and I'm okay with it. 55 million is a high number. I think the number's going to come in around 50 again. Like my number hasn't changed within 52 and 55. But if it is 55, I'm not tripping. Like, and if I'm being honest with you, I'm ending with this. I'm in my part with this, Kadeem. If the Dolphins don't value Tua, like the franchise, which we believe they do, we kind of know they do. But if they didn't really value him and respect the dude, bro, I would love this. First and foremost, I would love to see him get a championship this year for our Dolphins and then walk and be like, yo, I'm out of here. And I'm going to go to someone who appreciates me for my talent and all this other good stuff, and then wins multiple championships somewhere else. Because the disrespect this man gets is wild. And his play has been his play. Again, I'm going to go in this offseason on dude could have been a 5,000-yard passer legitimately, and he ended up with 4,600 yards. So, yeah, I think Tua is a dude. I think he's a top 5 quarterback, and we'll get into our quarterback rankings eventually.
Yeah. So Lee Connolly said no 5th-year option for sure, and then followed that up by saying next task, play well in December and January. And like I just checked, Tua has a 9-7 record in December, and that's December alone. So I'm just like, and like I do think there's this narrative that Tua kind of like falls. Tua's play, I will be honest, isn't what it is in like September, October, but I think like it kind of shows for the team as well. Tua still wins in December, and I think like that 9-7 record is not totally skewed, but you've got that horrible Titans game where the team went to bed and Brian Flores' game plan was just out the window. The game Christmas Day against Green Bay where he came out of the game injured. So like I'm not making an excuse for him. Like 9-7 isn't a good. It's a winning record and we'll take it, but I can obviously improve. Jason Keck says I agree 1,000. The team needs to play well in December and January, but they've got to stay healthy to do that. And just to follow up on that as well, this is no offense, a warm weather team. This team just plays better. Like this team is built to destroy teams in Miami. They need to work out how to go on the road and grind out results, I guess. But it is what it is. Hannah Montana says, "Hola, gentlemen." Shout out Hannah Montana. And the Great Finn fan says, "Yo," and then asks, "So what do you both think of Tua?" Before we get to that, because I do want to answer that question, I'm on sportrack.com. So Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback in terms of average salary at $55 million a year. Next up is Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson, both on 52. No, Justin Herbert is second at 52.5. Lamar Jackson is third at 52. Jalen Hurts is fourth at 51 million. Russell Wilson is fifth at 48.5. Kyler Murray is sixth at at 46. And notice I've named 6 quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes, I haven't mentioned his name yet. So at 6, number 7 is Deshaun Watson at 46. Mahomes is 8th at 45. Josh Allen is 9th at 43, and Dak Prescott is 10. at 40. Daniel Jones also at 40. Tua getting 55 million doesn't make him better than all of those quarterbacks. It's just that when those people negotiated their contracts,
Yep.
that's what kind of was. If Patrick Mahomes got what he genuinely deserved, then the number would be astronomical. It would be stupid. He's by far and away the best quarterback in the league. But that's essentially when people say Tua shouldn't get 55 million, like all those quarterbacks I just named, most are probably like overpaid, some are underpaid. But again, it doesn't
Yep.
matter because, like you said, when they negotiated their contract, that was just a number. Remember when we gave Ryan Tannehill the contract extension and everyone lost their mind?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, like within months, it didn't matter because
It didn't
guys
even
got
look
paid
right.
more.
It didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It actually when Tannehill got the number, and then maybe a year later, maybe a year and a half later, it was right where it was supposed to be because the league came and did what the league does. Actually, now that we have that, since you have Spotrac Track pulled up, Kadeem, where do you think Tua should be on that list? Like knowing the talent of those quarterbacks and the contracts of those quarterbacks, and when those contracts were done, where do you think Tua should end up or will end up? Since you're privy to the information that's in front of you.
not to be a boring podcast, but I think he does probably deserve to come in at that 52 million, like around that 52 million
Yeah.
mark. Like I'm looking at it right now. He's played better than Russell Wilson the past 2 years. I don't think that's up for debate. So to me, I'm
Right. So
looking at
that's
going, okay,
so Russell Wilson's 49. You said 48.
48.5.
Okay.
So yeah, he played like again those like 46 or 48 quarterbacks. Watson at 46, Kyler Murray at 46, and Russell Wilson at 48. Like he's played better than all three of those quarterbacks and stayed healthy compared to all three of those quarterbacks. So to me,
Yep.
just on those three guys alone, he's above that. You then get that next tier of like Jalen Hurts at 51.
Mm-hmm.
He's in no means a bad quarterback. He's a better dual threat quarterback than Tua, but at the same time, when you have like that offensive line and you're getting pushed in the bottom every single other play, like to not inflate your stats, but like to me, like around that 51, 52 million mark, people will still lose their mind at that. But to me, I think that's probably the most fairest evaluation, in my opinion.
And then right above that was Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson at 52, correct?
Yeah, so Jackson's at 52, Herbert's at 52.5, and then Burrow is the highest paid quarterback at 55 mil.
All right. So since I asked you the same question, I'll answer the same question. That tells me, in my opinion, maybe Joe Burrow got paid too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying he got paid too much, but it sounds like maybe he could have got paid too much. Maybe Burrow's number should be around 53, 54, 53 and a half, 54. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe, and they paid him too much. So my answer would be, yeah, it's supposed to be for Tua. It's supposed to be, and then not only did Joe Burrow get paid too much, Lamar Jackson didn't get paid enough, in my opinion. If we're going by inflation and the salary cap going up and all these things that we're taking into consideration, how good the player is and stuff like that, it sounds like Lamar Jackson should have been around the 54 range. You see what I'm saying? So that tells me I believe Tua should be around the 53 range, and that's why I think that number should come in at. And it actually doesn't change anything. I said between 52 and 55. But now that I think Burrow got paid too much, I think the Tua number is going to be in the 50s, in my opinion. Unless we said this before, unless he takes less, and then everybody say, "Oh, see, he's not better than nobody," as opposed to saying, "Oh, Tua left some on the table so we could put a team together." And it's funny how people are going to run with their side of the argument just to prove them their argument right.
Yeah, Tua doesn't speak enough in the media, and that's 100% his prerogative. But Tua's not going to come out and say I left some money on the table. He's like the media, the Dolphins and Tua will put out a statement or press conference, all that kind of stuff, and say this was best for the team, and kind of leave it around there. The people who say for whatever reason Tua takes 49 mil, we'll go with 49 mil. People will say, "See, I told you shouldn't get all that blah blah blah." And then others will say, well, he left money on the table because he probably could have been, like you said, it depends on what side of the two offense you fall on. So that takes us to, if you want to add anything else, I was going to get to the great things fan question. So yeah,
we're good.
He said, what do you both think of Tua? And I think genuinely, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think he is as it currently stands, a top 10 quarterback who is more than capable of taking the Dolphins, and I'll say it again, at the very least an AFC Championship game. That comes with a caveat of everything needs to essentially be perfect. And that's not because he's a bad quarterback, but that's kind of just the way.
What is everything?
So, when I say everything needs to kind of essentially fall on the Dolphin side with Tua at quarterback. So a really good offensive line, a solid run game, solid weapons at receiver, including tight ends, and a solid defense and a solid special teams. I think, in my opinion, that's the way. I genuinely think every single NFL team, including the Chiefs, are built that way because that Chiefs defense is legit. Like, it genuinely is legit. Like, again, you saw what the Ravens done to a Dolphins defense that was battered, that was injured, but you saw what that Ravens offense done to the Dolphins, and then what the Ravens offense done to the Chiefs. Like, that Chiefs defense, no matter how good the offense was, said you ain't going nowhere. Like, we're shutting you down today. So, yeah, even the Chiefs with a genuine Hall of Famer at quarterback still needs excellent special teams, excellent defense, and excellent offense. And that doesn't, that's the same for Tua.
But probably not excellent receivers, which that's what makes him that great quarterback. So only thing I disagree with what you said there was, and I'll answer the great Dolphins fan. That's what his name
the great Fins fan.
Great Fins fan. I'll answer the question too. Only thing I disagree with Kadeem said everything has to be perfect. Like, I think if you just paint the picture, every team has to have similar things. So I think the Dolphins are just hypersensitive when it comes to quarterback conversations and this guy is it, this guy is not it. I don't believe everything needs to be perfect. I think every team wants to have the Eagles offensive line. Every team wants to have an offensive line that doesn't change week in, week out, like the Bills and then the Ravens, and look at their success throughout the season. So yeah, I would love that. Do I think again, does it need to be perfect? No, I think outside of the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly. I hate to say once in a lifetime type quarterback, but we haven't seen Patrick Mahomes in the NFL before. We've seen Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning was once in a lifetime, but they're not the same. We seen Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because someone in the group chat said Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be what Patrick Mahomes is, and he didn't. He didn't end up being what Patrick Mahomes is. So for Tua, I think you have to look at what type of quarterback you have, and the type of quarterback you have is not the. And you know what? Deshaun Watson came out recently on the podcast and said, "Oh, they're not going to play me like they play Tua." That's exactly what he said. I don't know if you guys heard that. Deshaun Watson came out and then the internet kind of glitched for a second, and people thought that he was taking a shot at Tua. And I'm like, I don't know that that's a shot. Like, it's the truth that no one's going to play Deshaun Watson the same way they'll play Tua. They're not the same type of quarterback, right? So you have to acknowledge the run game ability of Deshaun Watson. You don't have to acknowledge that into it. That is not a shot at him. But I could promise you this: they're not going to be as threatened at Deshaun Watson's throwing abilities because he hasn't thrown the ball well in over 4 seasons. That's just a fact. So they won't play you. Your pass defense is going to be different from Tua's as well, and that's just a fact. It's not a shot. So that being said, if I have Tua as my quarterback, what I would want is a good is a good offensive line and good receivers. Now I have given him the ability to to dice some people up, because now he has time in the pocket. He's a pocket passer, and he has receivers to throw to. This is not unlike what we've been saying for the past 5 years, Kadeem. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what he needs weapons. He needs an O-line. So we got weapons, and the O-line has gotten better. That's it. None of this is saying something new. We're not saying anything new. We're not saying anything that we haven't said before. We're not asking for anything that we haven't asked for before. The O-line has improved. We're thankful for it. Then we had some injuries. That's unfortunate. But if I'm going to pursue this Super Bowl next year, what I would want is, and actually it's a little different because, the cap is involved now. But that's a whole episode. Probably don't want to open that can of worms. But yeah, I want an offensive line where you're not asking Tua to what's the he doesn't extend the play. Well, maybe you don't need him to extend the play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to ask him to extend the play if you have receivers in the O-line. You know what I'm saying? So all the extra stuff, the defense got to be this, the special teams, all that stuff. I don't necessarily believe that. I think if you have a quarterback that you want the ball in his hands with the last drive on the line, you also know he's going to be protected, and you also know that he has weapons, and that's good enough for me. There are some stats out there and analytics that we'll probably get into in this offseason where it's pretty wild analytics, and I'm like, man, that's football 101 right there. And the Dolphins actually have that. They fall within the realm of that, and I'll put some of it out there. It said something like, if you look at the past, 10 years, and we'll put it up on one of these next episodes coming up. If you look at the past 10 years, and you look at the past teams in the championship games, so NFC Championship and AFC Championship, not just the Super Bowl, the championship games, all of them except one team. And I don't know how far it goes back. Could have been 20 years, maybe. I don't know how long it was. Maybe 15. I don't know. If you look at the teams in the championship games, all of them except one team had a top 10 passing offense. You know what that one team that wasn't in the top 10 passing offense was?
I want to say the Baltimore Ravens, early 2000s.
It was the Kansas City Chiefs like 3 years ago, something like that. And they were 12th. Their offensive passing was passing offense was 12th. And they still made it. You know what I'm saying? They still did damage. So this is a passing league at the least. That's what it says. And now you have the Dolphins with like the second best passing offense in the league. In the past 2 years, I think we were 6 2 seasons ago, and now we're like 2 or maybe 1 or 2 this season. Oh, we were second because San Fran was first. So we're in the conversation. We have some of the criteria that needs to match that success according to that analytic. And then there was on that same analytic, I think the defense was pretty serious. I think passing defense was a pretty real thing. So, bro, we have it. And I think, bro, like, listen, we've seen the whole season. The first half of the season, it was 70 points. It was, hey, you think we go undefeated? It was, you better have this, you better have that. Bro, I don't understand how people can't see that this is not the same team that we started with and just be like, dang, we had a chance early, but the ball bounced the wrong way, throughout the season. It's not like we had the same team and started losing with these same pieces. That would be catastrophic. That's
100%.
what the Eagles did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why the Eagles are like, yo, y'all boys are on watch right now. So it didn't happen like that. So I'm okay with how everything played out. And it seems as if the front office of the Miami Dolphins are okay with it as well. If you look at Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel postseason press conference, it felt like, hey, it's unfortunate, but we gave it a good shot. It does not look like panic. It does not look like, we're going into our last season the next season on the hot seat, and this is a wrap. I don't get that feeling from the front office, and I don't believe it should feel like that at all.
So we've got some comments, and again, shout out to everyone in the live at the moment. Jason Keck says he needs what all quarterbacks need: they're starting players and a decent O line. 10 plus starters out and both your top receivers with leg injuries. You can't overlook that.
Crazy. And shout
Lee
out to
Connolly,
Jason Keck. Jason Keck of all people to point that out. You know, Jason Keck is so shout out Jason Keck for that one.
Lee Connolly says Tua shrinks in big spots, to which Jason responds saying he didn't shrink in that championship in college, did he? He didn't shrink in Baltimore when they were down 3 touchdowns, did he? And again, it's listen, to me, there's like big spots and then there's like key moments. No disrespect to any game, but like surely every game, be it week 1 or week 17, is like big spots. Like you don't get to challenge for the AFC title in week 17 if you don't win your games in week 1, 2, and beyond. And I think like a few years ago when that game, that the season where it all fell apart against the Titans, and people were like, see, Tua can't get it done in big spots. Again, it was like, in order to have that meaningful game in Tennessee, the Dolphins needs to go on a winning run, and Tua did not lose. Like the Dolphins were like
7-game win streak, 8-game win streak, something like that.
Something dumb like that. It was like Tua got injured. That was the year where we saw each other at Tottenham for the Jags game. Like lost to the Jags, lost to the Falcons, and then was like season's done. And
the buns
Falcons. But then like after that, the Dolphins won and won and won and won to get to a point where they were in for a shot of making the playoffs against the Titans and lost. But against like Tua shrinks in big spots. Dallas drive down the field Christmas Eve to go up, and Tua says, "I'm not like you're not ruining my Christmas," and wins that game. So I understand where Lee is coming from. I just somewhat disagree. But yeah, Jason. So the Great Finn fans asked Jason Keck 55 mil a year. He says yes. The Great Finn fan says that's elite money, right? Like so, that's elite money, right? I'm sorry, but that's too much. And kind of like we said, 55 mil like is Joe Burrow money. But like Justin Herbert's on 52.5, Lamar Jackson's on 52, Jalen Hurts on 51. 4 quarterbacks in the league are being paid on average over 50 million a year across their deals. Like so many are paid in the 40s, but like we said, if these like no matter what you think of Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, if these guys restructured their deals or like were able to renegotiate their contracts, today, you'll be looking at 55 million plus for all of those. Like 55 million seems a massive deal because right now it will put Tua, up there. These things change 24/7. So I understand what 55 seems like a lot. In 2 years' time, when it's sorry, will you?
No, I would challenge someone, and I challenge the people in the comments, honestly, and everyone listening. Let's just think about this for a second. Do you think Tua is closer to the play of Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, or do you think his play is closer to that of Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson? That's just the question. That's a simple question too. Do you think his play is closer to that of Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, or do you think his play is closer to that of Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson? I have my answer, because what did Justin Herbert do? You know what I'm saying? And this is the play in the past 2 seasons, by the way. We'll include the past 2 seasons. So I think it's a clear answer that his play is closer to that of Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson. And I actually think it's better than Justin Herbert's in the past 2 seasons. And that's factual, that his play is better than Justin Herbert's in the past 2 seasons. So if we're just talking about play on the field, and I think that's all we're talking about, that's what you go off contracts for. So if he ends up with 52, that's he earned it. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. The Great Finns fan says, I don't disagree, but we need him to take over in big games. And again, it's interesting because Lee Connolly says Bills twice this year, Chiefs twice this year, 2 big Titans games shrink. That Titans game where the defense gave up a 14-point deficit, I will genuinely never blame Tua for that.
15 points in 2 minutes.
Yeah, like, and again, I will understand and go, well, yeah, obviously, you know, the Dolphins could have got a first down, all that kind of stuff. The Dolphins were up 14 points because the Dolphins offense, with the help of special teams, went up 14 points. Hey, Vic Fangio, get one stop. Like, I beg you. But again, like, and this again, like Charlie said earlier, if the Dolphins lost both times to the Chiefs, both times to the Bills and to the Titans with a fully healthy team that played against the Broncos, all that kind of stuff, I could be like, yeah, great, brilliant. By the end of the, and like we said on Go Time Dolphins, by the end of the season, if you expected the Dolphins to go to Arrowhead in freezing cold conditions without the starting three defensive ends, the defensive line banged up the way it was, like with all the injuries, and come out of that game with a win, I'm sorry, your expectations are way beyond. Because like we said, MVP Lamar Jackson played the Chiefs
fully healthy.
nothing. Like
Fully
nothing.
healthy. That whole team was as healthy as it gets. And to be real with you, Hill and Waddle were hurt as well, but they still played through it. And I'll just throw this out there. I understand, and I don't think this is an aggressive conversation. I don't think anybody's pointing fingers. I don't think anyone is going at anyone's head about this thing. It's just opinionated. It's not that serious. But I will say this: the same way some people want to say, and it's not just our friends in the comments. It's the internet. It's the mindset of a lot of people on the internet. Tua doesn't show up in big games, and he shrinks and stuff like that. Justin Herbert is getting paid $52 million. So we're only talking about contracts right now. We're not talking about who's the better quarterback, right, Kadeem? We're just talking about the contracts of these quarterbacks. So we're talking about the contracts and how you validate contracts and justify contracts. Justin Herbert got his contract after he blew a 28-point lead in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? There's no bigger strength than that. You know what I'm saying? You up 28 points in the playoffs, and then you get paid $52 million in the offseason. I don't know how that happens. You know what I'm saying? So if we're talking about quarterbacks disappearing or not showing up, at the end of the day, it's football, bro. It's tough. Is things are going to happen. But if it always happened, that is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it always happens, and I don't believe it always happens, because the same Justin Herbert played Tua in week 1 of the season that just ended. And what happened? It was a shootout, and the Dolphins came out on top. So there's a moment where we didn't get the shrinkage. Pause. You feel me? So you see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, bro, like it's cool when people point out the shortcomings. I get it. There are going to be shortcomings. You feel me? But at the same time, if we're going to talk about the shortcomings, let's talk about the shortcomings of all the quarterbacks that get this type of money. And then if we're going to talk about the shortcomings, let's talk about when he did deliver for us, as if he's never delivered for us. So that's where I'm at with it, man.
Yeah. Lee does say, and I think, like people, I guess the defenders of Tua would say, it's a coach and it's injury. Someone was like, genuinely, I would never take Tua out of the reason the Dolphins didn't do what we expected them to do. But it's also like the other stuff plays a part, like the coaching, the injuries, like again, and it's funny how we saw it in the Super Bowl until Kyle Shanahan adjusted, just not abandoning the run when there's no need to. Like the 49ers abandoned the run, couldn't get anything going, and then Shanahan was like, hey, actually I need to get back into it. And McCaffrey went off, and that's what brought it, like that's what kept the Chiefs defense honest by running the ball so much. When they was asking Purdy to try and drop back all that kind of stuff, Steve Spagnuolo could essentially stop that down. But I understand what he's saying. He then says, money is the money. I just don't think we win it all with Tua. He's good when all is right. And what's really interesting is that we had a conversation, like me and some other Dolphins fans were saying, is Tua the Jared Goff with the Rams, where he can only take you so far, which was funny enough was the Super Bowl, and then Stafford comes in and wins the Super Bowl. And everyone was like, that's a great analogy. Like, this is over the internet as well, social media. Jared Goff and Tua are exactly the same. And then Jared Goff end that long Detroit Lions playoff streak and then takes them to the NFC Championship game. And probably should have won that game. And all of a sudden it's like, well, he can't. Everyone was like, well, he can't be Jared Goff. It's like, why? Why can't he be Jared Goff? Why all of a sudden, because Jared Goff wins a playoff game, multiple playoff games, it's changed. Like Lamar Jackson's 2-4 in the playoffs, 2-time MVP, and probably should get paid more and very, very quickly. Because he spoke about money and all that kind of stuff. Again, looking at Sport Track and looking at just 10 quarterbacks, or the highest paid quarterbacks, and who made the playoffs this year. So Joe Burrow number one, obviously injured. Did the Bengals make the playoffs this year, Charlie?
No.
Okay. Justin Herbert 2, 52.5 million. Did the Chargers make the playoffs this year?
Negative.
Lamar Jackson, obviously third. Did the Ravens win the playoffs? Get the playoffs this year?
Yes.
Did they win the Super Bowl?
No.
Jalen Hurts number 4. Playoffs this year?
Yes.
Super Bowl?
No.
Russell Wilson, 48.5. Playoffs this year?
Negative.
So no Super Bowl. Kyler Murray, 46.1. Playoffs this year?
No playoffs.
Deshaun Watson, 46. Playoffs this year?
No playoffs.
Patrick Mahomes, 45. Playoffs this year?
For sure.
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
He just built different. Josh Allen, playoffs this year?
Yes. By the
Super
skin
Bowl?
of their teeth. But yeah, he did. They did that.
So obviously we know no Super Bowl, and then Dak Prescott, 40 million. Playoffs this year?
Yeah.
But again, no Super Bowl. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 quarterbacks made the playoffs this year. And that's the thing. You could be the high paid quarterback in the league. It means nothing. You still need that injury luck. You still need all that kind of stuff. So again, if the Dolphins do pay Tua 55 million, the internet will lose their mind. In 2 years' time, when a whole bunch of other quarterbacks get paid, Tua would probably be like the 5th, maybe even 10th quarterback, and no one's going to care. No one.
I ain't gonna lie. Dolphins paid Tua anywhere over 50 million. The internet's gonna lose their mind. Matter of fact, internet's gonna lose their mind as soon as they pay him anything.
And anything over what Daniel Jones is doing.
Yeah, anything, bro. If Tua gets paid $40 million, the internet's gonna lose their mind, bro. That's why it's look. We about to get into bonus time, bro. Oh, you know what? We didn't even listen, and we're not even gonna stay on it too long. But we had a surprise, and it was a really good surprise. We're not gonna disclose what the surprise was. We actually were seconds away from going live with this surprise, and there was some people waiting in the chat, pre-show, and then it didn't come through. No telling what it was. Can't really say what it was. But man, just know we had something planned for you guys. We're not tripping that it didn't happen, but like we always want to give everyone who listens to Go Time Dolphins a treat, and that was a treat that we wish could have came through. But hey, the future, it still might happen in the future. But I'm just saying, it still might happen in the future.
No.
Listen.
So something in the comments, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's what the face was for.
Okay.
So the Great Fins fan says, Charlie, you're one of the few that rock a bald head with them glasses on. My face was like, well, I've got a bald head and I wear glasses. So I don't know if it's just specific glasses, but that's how I was like, what? Like what? So yeah, obviously it's a compliment. Charlie always looks dope with the glasses and the bald head.
Appreciate it.
I had the exact same thing. I just tend to wear a hat 24/7. So apologies.
Hey, let's get into bonus time. Maybe talk about the halftime show a little bit too, but we'll just dabble the halftime show in there. We're not gonna only talk about the halftime show, but y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Charlie, a question for you.
What up?
Usher's halftime, Super Bowl halftime performance. Was that the best Super Bowl halftime performance of all time?
No, 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 no. I just watched Get Out today again. If you ever seen Get Out, but no, 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 no. Like, listen, let's pump the brakes. I thought it was. I think Kadeem has a different opinion than me, but I thought it was a pretty good halftime show. I thought it was like, oh, this is dope. This is refreshing. This is a good halftime show, in my opinion. We don't gotta go off the chandelier and say it was the best ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. Like, yo, it was cool. It was okay. This is a nice little show, but it was not the best, Kadeem. I have well, I ask you how you feel, and I'll tell you what I thought was the best halftime show ever. But go ahead.
I was underwhelmed. Listen, I'm an Usher fan. Like, I knew every single song. There were some songs I wish he did, but I wasn't underwhelmed because he didn't do the songs that I want him to do. I was just a bit like, was that it? And again, it was impressive. He sung. You can tell he was singing. There was no lip syncing. He was
You can tell
dancing, the
Alicia Keys was
rollerblades.
singing too.
Listen. Alicia Keys done the Miami Dolphins, come out of halftime, and then had to throw a flag on the first play because the time expired on the play clock. How do you come out at halftime and on the first play get the lay of game? How does Alicia Keys come out? Listen, it is what it is. But
and it happens to the best, by the way. It happens to the best.
yeah.
It's not. I'm not joking that saying she can't sing or nothing it was just Go ahead.
Yeah, as a great Finns fan said, don't bring Usher around your girl. Listen, Swiss Beats must have been feeling some kind of way. Like, that's just, but I guess I'll have a conversation.
Hey, didn't Usher say that though? Don't leave your girl around me.
Around me, true. Like he warned you. But yeah, I just again, I put on social media. Yeah, if you saw Usher's Tiny Desk performance and thought that was amazing, and then
I didn't see his Tiny Desk performance.
His Tiny Desk performance was amazing. Like, genuine. Like,
oh yeah, check it out now.
Like, it was, but and again, maybe because like he sung full song, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just sat there and I was just like, yeah, like Usher did his thing, but I wasn't impressed. And again, it's people saying best halftime show of all time. Just stop. Like, just stop.
So my best halftime show. One was Michael Jackson. It was really good. But even better than Michael Jackson was Prince for me, bro. When Prince did halftime, and I feel like we talk about this every year. When Prince did halftime, the halftime show, it was in Miami, by the way. It was raining, and you could probably find this story somewhere on the internet. It was raining, and they were about to cancel the halftime show. And they were like, hey, Prince, like, we don't want you to go out there because it's raining and it's dangerous because we got all this electricity out there and you're going to be on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we cannot promise your security and your safety. And then he was like, is this what you came into the locker room for? Basically, like, Prince. Is this why you came and disturbed me? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, but you're like, yo. So they're like, we don't know. We don't know if you want to go out there and perform while it's raining. We understand the dangers. We understand the risks. But we just wanted to bring it to your attention. You know what Prince said? Prince said, I only got one question for you. He said, I only got one question for you. Can you make it rain harder? That's what he said, bro. Listen, man. And then at the end of the performance, he played Purple Rain, bro, in the rain. Come on, Purple Rain in the rain. It doesn't get no better than at the Super Bowl. Like, nah, bro. I don't know if we're gonna see a better performance than that. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, that was epic.
Same way to beat the Chiefs, everything needs to be perfect. To get the best Super Bowl show, like everything, like you can't like the weather was on his side, like just elemental. Now I can understand people who didn't watch the Prince performance and who said that Usher was the best that they had seen or best in their lifetime. I can understand that. To Usher, like I thought Rihanna last year was better. I thought 50 Cent hanging upside down was better.
I think Dr. Dre was better than Usher. Dr. Dre's performance was real good in my opinion. but because you know he had 50 and Eminem and stuff. But no, I thought Usher was better than Rihanna for sure. Yeah, you know,
She was pregnant.
I ain't gonna lie, no. I think Usher was better than Beyonce's too. Like I
I
thought
wasn't a fan of Beyonce's.
recent Super Bowl like performances the past 10 years, I thought Usher was up there at the top somewhere.
I prefer Bruno Mars to Usher as well. But again, it wasn't that.
I like Bruno Mars, and I thought Usher was better than that. It was cool, bro.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was cool. You know, having Ludacris. Listen, having her on the guitar. Listen, I love her. Like that's just that. Hannah Montana's not here right now, so I can kind of say what I want. But like her, like me and her, like, but yeah. But no, it's listen, there's so much to get into over the next few weeks before free agency drafts and all that kind of stuff. But like we didn't touch upon it, obviously, because we didn't record. But very quickly, your opinion on the Anthony Weaver hire.
JJ Watt said D'Amico Ryan was the best hire, and the world will be shocked when they see how well D'Amico Ryan does. JJ Watt then this year said Anthony Weaver, and I'm putting words in his mouth, paraphrasing, but he basically said the same thing about Anthony Weaver becoming a DC. And with that endorsement, I was happy about it. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, it's not the John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh was saying how Anthony Weaver was gonna be a head coach in the league one day, and he was like, I might get fined when I say this. And then he started advocating for Anthony Weaver. I guess you can't say certain things, or maybe what's it called when you what's that word that the Dolphins did with Brady?
Tampering.
Tamper, right? So yeah, I guess he felt like maybe this is a tamper, but I can't say certain things. But and that I thought that was a friend and a former boss and a head coach just saying, hey, congratulations to Anthony Weaver. But the unsolicited support he got from JJ Watt after JJ Watt was spot on about D'Amico Ryan, like I appreciated that. So sounds like we got a nugget, but none of it matters, Kadeem. We got to see it on the field. Like I have to see it. I'm not excited about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like we have entered the realm of expectations where nothing matters. Before we were like, can we just get a good team? You know what I'm saying? Like now, can we get a good quarterback? Can we get this? Can we get? And now we have all of it, and now it's time. I still think people are too harsh on McDaniel, but that's not for this. What you thought about Weaver?
Yeah, it was somewhat of a left field hire in my opinion. I think like everyone assumed it would be brand like the Dolphins seem to hire or seem to interview a lot of people from like the Vic Fangio tree. And it's kind of like, okay, cool, fair enough. We want to keep things like, you know, very similar, all that kind of stuff. And then when someone from the Rex Ryan tree was like, oh, did not see that coming. A lot of Dolphins fans were upset they didn't promote in-house. Is it Anthony Campanile? That's his name.
Yeah, the linebacker coach.
Yeah, and I think you said it brilliant. It was like, what's he done? Like, yeah, he was really passionate on Hard Knocks. That's not a reason to get like. Yeah,
that's a motivator.
Yeah, great, brilliant. Yeah, and then again, we joked. It was like, can he call plays? Can he get some situation to stop X, Y, and Z? You can motivate your guys, but I need more than that. Anthony Weaver, obviously former Texans head coach. What DC? No, what's head coach?
No, he wasn't head coach.
Are you sure? I'm
pretty sure he wasn't the head coach. I'm 100% sure he was never the head coach.
Anthony Weaver. Bear me 2 secs. Wikipedia. No, you're right. So yeah, DC. Yeah. I don't know why I thought head. DC in Texans for 1 year before going back to the Ravens. So yeah, apologies for that. But yeah, and it's you can't really give much from that Texans team and stuff. But yeah, I'm interested. He gets spoken highly around the league, which is always important. Coming from a Ravens defense, which we saw what the Ravens defense done to the Dolphins. I just think that it's somewhat similar to when we hired Mike McDaniel. Impressed me. Go out there throughout the season and impress me. You know, can he adjust on the fly? Can he put players in the correct position to succeed? You know, I look forward to seeing what he brings to this Dolphins defense. At the very least, can we see Cam Smith? If he plays Cam Smith over Eli Trash Apple, then that's sorry, Eli Rotten Apple. We'll go with that. If he can play Cam Smith over, then to me, it's like it's an instant win. But again, this is going to be a defense which it can be very different to what we saw, or we expect to be very different from what we saw last year. At the very least, you're probably going to lose Christian Wilkins. You might lose friend of the podcast, Brandon Jones. You've got Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips coming off really serious injuries. You're probably going to lose Andrew Van Ginkel. Probably going to lose Emmanuel Ogba. Probably going to lose Raekwon Davis. You might lose Jerome Baker. You might lose Nick. Like, the Dolphins have a lot of rebuilding on that side of the ball before we even think about what he can bring. Very quickly, Robert Ashton said, Charlie made it home, I see. Hi, everyone. Shout out to Robert Ashton. And the great Finns fan asked any clue on the scheme that he will implement. Charlie, do you have any clue?
No, I don't have a clue. And I was just about to say how I think the Dolphins did pretty well. I honestly believe the Dolphins did well with the previous with the head coaching hires in the past of the past, what is it, 5 seasons? I think the Dolphins did well with the head coach. You know, I think Flores was a good head coach. I think, matter of fact, this is an unpopular opinion. I think Adam Gase was a good head coach. I think McDaniel is a good head coach. I think the Fangio hire was as good as it could have been because of the circumstances. I like when the Dolphins do their due diligence. And I don't know whose idea it was to bring in Weaver, if it was a McDaniel call or a Greer call, but I like going off script. I like coloring outside the lines. So we gotta deliver. That's it.
Yeah. Very quickly, great Finns fan, or two things. So first thing, great Finns fan, I think it's going to be kind of like a similar scheme in terms of like a 3-4 with Phillips and Bradley Chubb like standing up on the side and stuff like that. But it'll be a lot more aggressive, a lot more blitzing. That's the first thing. The second thing, can you guys see behind me? Jadaine, give us a wave. It's her birthday. It's birth of the podcast, Jadaine Simmons' birthday.
Hey.
It's officially midnight in the UK. So happy birthday, Jadaine. What's good?
Happy birthday, Jordan. That's
So,
what's up.
Charlie said happy birthday. Yeah. And my little sister's birthday today, Valentine's Day. So yeah, thought I say that on the podcast as it's officially past midnight. But that's all I've got, Charlie. Anything else?
That's it.
Then we shall see you on the next one. Peace.